Supposed to be a happy meal.
It was everything. It was the greatest meal of my life. And we went to his grandparents, showed him the ring. I was a woman that felt loved every single day. We were married for 11 years. In the middle of this gorgeous lagoon was a hole that went down about 240 feet deep. He sat on the edge of the water, and I remember saying, babe, hang on a second. Let me get the camera. I want to take a picture of you. He sunk beneath the surface. He was gone.
Well, if you're enjoying Table Talk, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Remember to click that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest posts. Well, today's guest is an amazing singer whose powerful voice and unwavering faith have inspired millions around the world. But before we get to that and her incredible story, joining me around the table is April Simons. How are you?
Hey there, I'm doing good. Another great story today. It was sad, but it ends up good. And it's encouragement. It's going to give hope to the viewers today.
Yeah, you know, Dorothy, there may be people watching today who have lost a loved one. They need to sit down, get a cup of coffee, and watch this, don't they?
Exactly. And you know what? There's always purpose in our pain.
Yeah, that's
right. And it's not always easy.
Yeah.
It's hard. I imagine it was really, really hard. But with God, you can get through it.
Yeah.
And this is a true testament of his greatness.
Yes. Rachel Lamb Brown,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you for having me. You know, grief is like a megaphone in your own head that only you can hear. And it shows up at all different times. And so I'm excited to glean from our guest today after, you know, she went through such a difficult time and how people can have hope to get through to the other side.
That's good. Rebecca Lamb-Weiss, how are you?
Happy to be right next to you. Always.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
But this is a really
Hard topic.
Heartbreaking story.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But you know what? I think when you go through difficult things and you come out the other side, I think it's really important to share your testimony of how God brought you through so that when someone else goes through something of that magnitude, they know that, hey, if God brought them through, that he can bring me through. Because God is no respecter of persons.
Why, and that's why she's going to share her story, because she wants to encourage others that no matter what happens in life, this life is just a stepping stone to the life to come.
Exactly.
Eternity is a long time. And so things happen in time while we're on this earth. But we're going to talk about how do we navigate it? How do we get through it? Cindy Johnston, are you ready?
I'm ready. I have my Kleenex, and they better get their Kleenex.
That's right.
But you know, I think God, and just in general, people on earth, we can identify more with people's pain than their perfection.
It's
We
true.
like to show perfection, but the pain I can relate to, and this story is really incredible.
So good. Tammy Trent, welcome to the table.
So happy to be with you girls, every single one of you. I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, you've already blessed me. Already the things you've said, it's just, I think that's the greatest gift is community.
Yeah.
The danger is isolation, and it's easy to do that when you're hurting and when you're in pain.
That's
But
right.
thank you. I'm so happy to be with you.
Well, we're so glad to have you here. You know, when tragedy strikes, we have a choice to make. Will we embrace God's comfort, or will we give in to despair, many times get mad at God? Well, Tammy Trent is joined us today to share how God intervened when she found herself alone, overseas, grieving a loss that she never in a million years expected. Okay, so let's go back and kind of tell the story for people watching.
Yeah.
How did you meet the love of your life?
I'll give you the short version, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good one. Met this kid in my youth group when I was 15 years old. And we lived on the same side of town together, so it meant that we got to go to the same fellowship group together, so I got to watch his life. 15, 16-year-old kid that really was interested in the things of God. So as a 15, 16-year-old girl, that was very attractive. I was allowed to date him. We started dated for 7.5 years, the best years of my life. And he was such a covering for me. He was consistent, he was faithful. We talked about purity in our youth group, and it was something I struggled with because I'd come from a broken home, so I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be loved, and he would tell me every time as the stronger one, I believe God's got a plan for us, a purpose for us, and I believe part of that is me protecting you in this relationship. And I was like, what are you saying as a teenager? But I wanted to kiss him even more, like, get over here. I mean, I was falling even more in love with him. So I went off to Bible college, came back.
Wait, you got to tell what happened while you're at Bible college.
Well, I broke up with him. It was one
Everybody
of the,
can say, oh.
Yeah, I know, why did you do this? But, you know, I was going to Bible college ministry and thinking, you know, as a singer at the time and having a dream of writing music and touring, and I thought, well, maybe that's the ministry God has for me.
And doors were opening for that.
They were, even at a young age. I was on a teen talent competition,
yes,
right? Remember that in the
yes.
Assemblies of God? And so I thought, well, how is this going to work? Isn't it funny? I think when we're younger, we're trying to already make sense of stuff when we don't allow God to do what he wants to do. So I was already trying to fit my will and my purpose and my idea. I was already messing up God's plan. So I came back and I had no doubt that he was the one. I met guys at college. It was kind of fun, but I was like, but they are not Trent. They are not this guy. Came back and I said, you're the one. And we started dating again.
He had waited on you?
He waited. He waited. He waited. He went to a Christian high school. I was at a secular one. I was asked to come and sing at their prom at the Christian college, right? We were broken up during some of that time, and he asked 2 girls to go with him so that when I showed up singing there, that I would not see him with one girl and think he was dating someone. This guy was unbelievable. Like, every girl wanted to date him, but he went with 2 just to go as friends so that if I saw that I would know. But he waited, and he just knew.
So y'all got back together. How old were you at that point?
I was probably, college.
Like 19, 20?
19, and we got back together and got engaged a few years after that. And I will never forget
Wait,
walking.
how did he propose?
You want to know the scoop, don't you?
Girls, you want to know the details.
I want the scoop.
I want the scoop. Well, it's all in the book. That's the good news. All those little details that you're
here's
wondering
the book,
about.
Learning to Breathe Again. The whole story's in there.
It's all in the book. Okay, so Trent drives into McDonald's drive-thru. This is hilarious. And he's whispering to the girl at the drive-thru, and I'm thinking, and she's whispering back, and I'm getting mad. Like, they're flirting with each other, and I'm right here. They're whispering back and forth. And
It's not even like him.
No, exactly. And I'm actually getting mad. And he gets a Happy Meal. And I'm like, a Happy Meal? We get in the car and he sits there. He says, open it. I said, no, I don't want to open it. I'm mad. He's like, babe, open it. And I'm like, I don't want to. I finally do. When I reach into the Happy Meal, it's my ring. Start crying like, what a jerk I am. So back then, though, we didn't have the camera and set it all up and do it. So he took me to McDonald's and a Happy Meal, and I loved it. I loved it, and it was a happy life.
It was supposed to be a happy meal.
It was everything. It was the greatest meal of my life. And we went to his grandparents, showed him the ring, and that began that next chapter, that next adventure of my life. Everything I experienced with him now overflowed into my marriage, and it was good. It was solid. I was a woman that felt loved every single day. It was consistent. It was faithful. Times when I didn't deserve it, it was what I felt truly. But he had such a love and a calling for me that was almost hard to explain. But I settled into it, and I think because I come from a broken home, I didn't really have that example in my life until this man walked into my life, and it was all the things I wasn't fully aware of, and so I took things for granted. We were married for 11 years, and
he actually got involved in your singing career, managing you, helping you?
He did. Yeah, I had signed my first record deal as Tammy Trent. I took his first name as my last name.
I love that.
Together we're Tammy and Trent Lindering, but on the platform I was Tammy Trent. It's just, I'm so grateful because we've been in it together from the very beginning, so that name has meant everything to me.
And y'all were traveling and doing stuff at this 11-year mark. Y'all been married 11 years. You were, what, on a trip to where?
Yeah, so we had, prior to this, I had signed a bigger deal at the time with Sparrow Records, and so we moved from Grand Rapids, Michigan to Nashville, built our first home together in 9 years, walked into that home, was beginning to pray. I remember that first night, and I'm gonna get to that, but I remember that first night, being handed the keys. We had no furniture, walked into this home, we sat there in the 19-foot ceiling, and Trent just started praying, God, I pray that when people walk into this home, they feel the peace of God always. What's crazy to me now is that God was already using Trent to set up my healing. because I would need to be the very one to walk into that home 2 years later and know the peace of God in my life. So he's already using him. So we're traveling, the music's happening, asked to go over to Jamaica on a mission trip in the season of all this, sort of wondering, which girls, I think we've all been in the season before coming in and out of it. What is God up to? What am I doing? Where am I supposed to be? What's the will of God? Am I in it? Am I out? Am I forcing my way in? Is it God? How do I surrender to these things? And I was there. Is it another record? Is it not? I'm okay with it because it doesn't define my life. It was a piece of me, but my identity wasn't in a record deal. So I thought, 11 years. Am I supposed to start a family now? I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. And I just wanted adventure with Trent for a good 10 years. We had it. So I thought, babe, I think I'm ready to start a family. Maybe come off the platform and he's like, I've been waiting for you. So that was that season of going to Jamaica thinking God was about to do something, only I had no idea what it was gonna be. And I stood on the edge of the water.
Wait, so tell what happened.
We were going on a mission trip. We went to vacation on one side of the island before we were gonna begin the mission trip. So on this day off, traveling from one side to the other, Trent said, what do you wanna do on our day off? I'm adventurous, I've got a list. What's on your list? I said, well, show me your list. It said the Blue Lagoon. I knew he wanted to go to the Blue Lagoon. He'd been a certified diver since the age of 12, so I knew he wanted to dive. He wanted to free dive.
And what was special about this lagoon other than it was beautiful?
It was gorgeous. They had a restaurant right on the edge of the water. Like, he researched it all. He knew, like, she's gonna love this. They had a restaurant, and that's how we talked. You're gonna love this. What was always like, because I want to go diving, but you're gonna love this. So we went there, had lunch on the edge of the water. Trent said, I'm gonna suit up. I'm gonna go for a free dive. 15 minutes, just give me 15 minutes, and then we'll go do something you want to do.
And was there like a hole or something there?
So in the middle of this gorgeous lagoon was a hole that went down about 240 feet deep. And he wanted to explore in the hole. So he had his underwater scooter with him. He was in his full bodysuit, mask, fins, snorkel, everything. He sat on the edge of the water, and I remember saying, babe, hang on a second. Let me get the camera. I want to take a picture of you. It's one of the greatest gifts God has ever given me through this loss is the fact that I have a picture of Trent.
Right before.
Right before. So he sat there again. I'll be back in 15 minutes. I'm gonna free dive, and that's when you go in the water without oxygen, without tanks. He was brilliant at that. He could hold his breath up to about 2 minutes, 3 minutes underwater. So he slipped into the water, and he began to head out to that hole. He lifted his head out of the water, and he just kind of waved goodbye to me. That was kind of our weird little kind of. He did that, and I waved back, and he sunk beneath the surface, and he was gone. I had no idea at that moment that that would be the last time I would ever see Trent again.
And so you're sitting there at the edge of the water waiting, and tell me about the time passing, like after the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
15.
so 10 minutes went by, 15. I saw some other swimmers in the area, and I was finishing lunch, and I was looking out into the lagoon, and didn't see anything, and 15 turned into 30 and into 45, and I thought, no, something's wrong, because Trent's the kind of guy that if he was gonna make a new plan, he'd come and tell me because he didn't want me to be afraid. Always thoughtful of that stuff. But this time it was different, it didn't happen, and so it turned into an hour, and I thought, something is wrong, something's not right. So I got up and I got close to the edge of the water, I started to look out, and I knew I'd have to see him every few minutes, and I saw nothing. And a boat came into that lagoon, went over the hole, went back over the hole where Trent was, and it docked. And I was like, I hope you hear the boat. And I remember just watching again and again, and nothing. And I knew at that moment, like, this isn't good. This is really bad. And I don't know how to change it. I don't know how to change this. This is really bad. And I went to the back room of this restaurant by myself. And I just began to call everybody I could, and there wasn't one person that was there.
Nobody was answering the phone.
Nobody was there.
You were there alone. You're in another country.
Yeah, that's scary.
Nobody was there. And I remember sitting in that space and thinking, God, help me. It was the only prayer that would come out of my mouth was just help. Like, I didn't even know what to pray. I would just help me, God. And then I started to sing like every song. It's like we practice for these moments our whole lives, right? As believers, going to church, we're worshiping God. I surrender all. We're singing the song. We're trying to remember the scripture. We practice for these moments. And there I was in my moment. And I just lifted up my hands and I started singing, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice. And just every one of these songs that poured out of me was like a lifeline tying me to hope. And 3 hours went by. I'd called in a dive team and I said, would you please come and search for Trent? And they started the search while I sat in that back room, and they came in after 3 hours and said, we can't find him. We cannot find him, Tammy. And I said, well, what do I do then? I don't know. Then I said, I'll sleep on the edge of the water till you start again in the morning because I have nowhere to go. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. And they said, no, we'll want to take you up to a home of 2 doctors that want to watch out for you through the night. And I'll never forget the next morning, a doctor came into my room and he said, Tammy, come quickly. You need to look at the television. Come fast. And I walked into that room staring at the television the morning of September 11th, 2001. As the second plane plowed into the Twin Towers, oh my God. I thought for the first time in my life, remember, like, what is going on? I think every one of us will always remember where we were at that
always
moment,
remember.
right?
I know.
I was
Always.
the same thing.
Were you?
My husband walked in and turned the TV on and said, you got to see this.
Crazy. I know.
Yeah.
And it was just, I think we were all like and I certainly was. I'm in a foreign country. America's falling apart. My personal world is falling apart. Then I got the call that all flights were grounded. My family was sitting on a runway in Dallas, in St. Louis, and Chicago on planes, ready to take off to come to rescue me. And all flights
They were all grounded.
Everything was grounded. And
Did you continue to stay with the doctor's house, or did you go somewhere?
do you know what? I stayed there for that night only. I remember I was in a bed that had they had no air conditioning, super hot in Jamaica, and it had a net around me to keep any bugs, ants, whatever. And I dreamt that night. I remember dreaming that night that Trent had come out from the jungle and just like, I'm here. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. I'm here. It was so real. And I remember waking up.
I was going to ask you,
and
did you have a dream about him?
I did that night.
And he probably looked amazing, right?
Yeah, he
Happy,
did,
healthy.
of course, in that dream. But when I woke up, reality was that it wasn't changing. This was reality, and this is your life. And what are you going to do now? I went to a home right at the Blue Lagoon. They took me to this beautiful home where this mama wanted to take care of me and her son. Precious. Her son was I remember, in a really bad place in his life. And I asked him, would you step in and would you take me to the morgue? Would you help me? And I remember afterwards, she coming to me and saying, you have no idea what that did for him, that you allowed him to minister to you. And he had no idea. He's not serving God. He doesn't know. But he stepped into this position, and I just said, can you help me? It began to turn his life around, she called later and said, which I'm like, look at how God will use everything, every moment. There's always an appointment. There's always an assignment. And I didn't know enough to step in it. I just was there, and God used it. And so things began to turn and change, but they began to search for him.
About going to the morgue.
The second call came in where they recovered his body. And
so how long did it take him to recover it?
less than a day.
Less than a day.
Less than a day.
And where did they find him?
They found him in the Blue Lagoon. He was in that hole about 150
With
feet
his,
down, still hanging onto his underwater scooter. Something had struck him on the back of the head and knocked him out, and he didn't survive. So they recovered him. I got the call. I remember falling to my knees, just like, God, like, what do I do now? What am I supposed to do? The reality of how will the questions, like, for me, how do I live? How do I breathe? What do I do with my life? Like, I was just so confused. I really was in like a haze, a thick haze, and numb and shock. And it was probably 2 days later, I headed to the morgue and had to identify his body. I'm grateful for the gift that God gave me. The image that will always be in my head, Trent looked like he was just sleeping. Being underwater for more than 24 hours, they warned me, Tammy, Trent will probably not look like Trent. They were graphic. I talk about in my book what they thought he might look like to try to prepare me. And I was thinking, oh God, protect me, protect my heart, protect my heart. And I remember walking in there and seeing him just lay there. And he was Trent. His hair was spiky just like it was. And
His hair was perfect.
Yes, it was perfect. And he looked amazing. And I love how God does that for us. The moment he left and went to heaven, like that was my last image that I will always have.
Were you still by yourself at this point?
You want to know what? The beautiful part of this story is that my father-in-law made it to me. He was one of the calls that I made, Trent's family. And he was in LA the night before. He somehow made it, he took a red-eye flight on the 10th. He made it over to me on the 11th, the morning of, without a passport, in a foreign country. He didn't know where I was. I was hours away from the airport. When he landed, all of Jamaica kind of knew, which is crazy, what had happened. They had sent someone to get him, not knowing what he looked like. He didn't know. He walked off of that plane, and they said, "Mr. Linderink?" He said, "Yes." They said, "Come with us." He got in a car, drove 3 hours to find me, and he was there to walk out that 10 days of both of our lives if we were stuck in Jamaica, all flights being grounded for 10 days. But I'm telling you, the healing began for me. If I could tell you this last little story, it's the best. Healing began 2 days later. We headed to Kingston, where Trent and I were originally planning on going to begin the mission trip. I walked into the very same hotel room where Trent and I were supposed to be there. Now I'm walking with my father-in-law. We got adjoining rooms so he could watch out for me through the night. The next day, he went back to the Blue Lagoon to explore. I couldn't go. I stayed behind, of course. But I found myself in the bathroom just weeping, just crying. "God, do you see this girl? Where are you? Do you see me? I need you. I want my mom. I want my sister, that touch of a mom. I just need it. Are you there? Do you see me, God? Can you just show up for me? Just send me somebody that just would hold me, God. I'm not asking for 100 angels, 10, just one that would just hold me." And I remember something coming over my spirit, just move, Holy Spirit, move, move. And I got out of that bathroom and I started to move through the room, and I could hear somebody in the adjoining room. And I made my way over there, that opening, and I looked and I saw this beautiful Jamaican woman standing there. And I said, "Ma'am, could you just come in and make my bed? Could you just come in and make my bed?" And she looked at me and she said, "I have been trying to get to you. I could hear you crying, and I've been trying to get to you." She said, "Could I just come in and hold you?"
Oh, man.
I think I laughed and I cried. I was like, "Yes, yes, yes." And she walked in, she wrapped her arms around me, she began to pray for me. And I thought to myself, man, I had no idea angels wore Hilton housekeeping outfits. But there I was, and I think that's when the healing began for me. I stepped into it. I let her love me. I let her hold me. She didn't know what had happened in my life. She didn't know why I was crying, but the healing began for me. And it's been a long time. I've walked a road of healing. I've put the hard work in. I've wrestled. I've been angry. I've been disappointed. There's been unmet expectations. I didn't have the family that I thought I would have, that we were preparing for, you know, all the things. But what I've tried to do in this whole journey is I could spend my whole life looking at this. What didn't happen? What I didn't get? Or I could look at this part of my life and say, "God, thank you for what you did give me. All the time that I had. But this man that taught me love and what it should look like, and now I know how to recognize the things that I need or that you might bring into my life." I don't have children, but I have my nieces and nephews. I get to pour my life into it. So I've tried to spend my life looking at what I do have rather than what I don't have. And that's when fulfillment comes for me. That's when joy has come for me. And then God putting me on a certain platform of healing where it's all coming back to life again. I choose joy. I choose hope. And I will fight my way through it to get to the other side, because I know that at the end of the day, God will always lead me to my final destination.
So good.
Yeah.
You were, you know, Trent was so foundational for you in your life and was such a helper to you. How did God transition from you having this massive support and love to not having that?
It's a great question. I came off the platform for a whole year because I mainly thought, I have nothing to give. And I'm a girl, like, I can't pretend. I cannot fake it.
Yeah.
I can't fake joy. If it's there, it's, all the things. My heart's on my sleeve. If I'm mad, you're going to know. Right? And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Like the emotions, Jesus had emotions. So it's how I, prioritize them and navigate them. But I'm heart on my sleeve, girl. It's all there. But I knew enough. Come off the platform. Don't pretend you have something to give if you don't. Heal, heal, heal. And I did that for a year. when Women of Faith called and I took that platform, I thought, how am I going to do this? What do I do? I called my mom. My parents are pastors. Mama, will you come out with me? Will you come alongside me in this season? I don't know what I need, but I know I need you. So will you come alongside me? She said, baby, I'll be there anytime you need me. So every Women of Faith, I flew my mom out. I flew my sister out. I flew my best friends out. I flew out people from my mom's ministry and women's ministry. So I surrounded myself. And then God brought a girl into my life who is working with Trent, who is doing website stuff for me. And her name was Anita. And I said, you're working at Thomas Nelson Publishing. I said, how would you like to leave Thomas Nelson and come on the road with me? I'll just teach you all you need to know. I don't know how much I can pay you, but God will take care of us both. How about coming on the road? She said, I'm all in. And she has worked with me now for 23 almost years alongside me in full-time ministry. And she's here today. But a blessing from God that he already began to set that up too, even her knowing Trent. She was working on website ministry stuff for me, already had a heart. And so there we were. God has put us and taken us around the world together. I didn't need a manager. I didn't need a booking agent. I needed a heel, and I needed friends, and genuine friends that would walk it out with me. She was one of those gifts from God, and we began to do that together. We've seen the world. We've laughed more than we've cried. She could tell my story probably better than I could. She's heard it so many times, but I'm very grateful for the road. As bumpy as it's been, I can see the hand of God.
Yes, yes.
I can. I couldn't stand on the edge of the water that day and see God's will, and I couldn't see his plan. I thought it all shifted and changed, and my plan changed, of course, but I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, sitting with every one of you girls here today, I have no doubt, and I'm so sincere about it, that this has been God's plan for my life. And you have two choices. You can either step into his plan, you could resist it and fight it your whole life and be angry, or you could just surrender it all.
There you
Say,
go.
God, help me surrender this to you.
So good. Did y'all love this story?
Wow.
So good, so good. So heartfelt. But we are out of time. I want you to remember that grief is real, but so is God's comfort, just like Tammy is talking about. The Bible says that he is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
Yes.
And you heard her say it, all you have to do is surrender everything to him. As I was sitting here, I really felt like the Holy Spirit said, there are women watching that have gone through a divorce, and you feel lost, almost like someone died. And it has been a loss, and you're grieving, and I don't know the circumstances, but I just want you to know that you're not alone. God loves you, and just like he was with Tammy, he will be with you, no matter what kind of loss you face. I know so many of you could relate to the story today. And if you're watching, you need prayer. That's why that prayer line number's on the screen. We have amazing prayer partners that are standing by. And if you don't know Jesus, Tammy will tell you that's the most important decision that you can make today, just to invite him into your heart and say, Jesus, forgive me. Come into my heart. I'm going to surrender all this stuff to you and be Lord of my life. I'm ready to start a new life serving you. And I'm just telling you, everything will change because you won't be alone. You will have Jesus with you. That's the beautiful thing about praying that prayer. But the most important thing about that prayer is that it prepares you for eternity. You know, there's no way that Trent knew that he was going to be promoted to heaven that day. Thankfully, he knew the Lord. So we know where he is. We're going to see him again. We want to make sure we see you again. So if you haven't invited Jesus into your heart, do that right now. It's the most important decision you can make. Well, I want to thank Tammy for joining us today. Be sure you pick up a copy of her book, Learning to Breathe. Again, you tell the whole story.
It's all in there.
And for more, you can visit her online at tammytrent.com. And as always, make sure to follow us on all social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for full episodes and exclusive content. And let us know how Table Talk is touching your life. We love hearing from all of you. Of course, you can also listen to the Joni Table Talk podcast, available now on all the major platforms. But I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you, ladies. So heartfelt today. It's a little somber because we are just feeling Tammy's story. And for many of you that are watching, we're feeling what you've gone through. We want you to know it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Yes, it is.
We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for today. Well, you know, there's always more to the story. If today's conversation stirred something in your heart, don't let it end here. Click on the next video to keep growing in faith and truth. And if If you haven't yet subscribed, turn on the bell so you never miss a moment. Let's keep pressing in together.